I have a confession. I've had strong opinions about things I've never actually tried and repeated them like fact. I'd bet you do this too. Quick test, Nickelback, good or bad? You answered instantly. When did you actually decide that? Now watch this. Times Square, Las Vegas, Applebee's. You felt the opinion show up. It gets a label, cheesy, tacky, manufactured, suburban, not for people like me. And then the label becomes the whole point. An excuse to not experience it for yourself. I had a big one. Cruises. Cruises don't count as real travel. But turns out I've never been on one. I think we need a vacation.
Yes, I want a vacation.
I'm thinking a cruise.
A cruise?
Yeah.
Cruises are just not my style. I feel like I'll be trapped.
What do you mean? You've never been on one, so how would you know?
Well, I can't argue with that. Shouldn't we be packing matching outfits or something?
You could look good in a dress.
Everyone was in. My girlfriend's family, my parents. I was the only one still holding a position I never actually tested.
Absolute chaos.
So I said yes. Not because I'd changed my mind,
Bigger than I thought.
because I finally had to admit I'd never actually made it up. I want to be honest about where my head was at when I got on that ship. I wasn't there to enjoy it. I was there to see if I was right, which is actually the worst way to test anything. Because if you're looking for proof you're right, you'll find it. Everything starts confirming what you already believed. Every crowd feels too crowded. Every buffet is just a buffet. I knew that, but it didn't matter.
Like it or not, I'm here.
Right off the bat, I'm cataloging everything that confirms my theory. Speaking of, every cheesy thing feels like evidence. Matching family shirts, cruise line bling, photo op around every corner. I'm not proud of it, but I'm not gonna pretend it didn't happen.
Mindset check. It's better than I thought. You gonna say it?
Heard it.
But we'll see. I'm not buying in just yet. Yeah, there's still not real travel.
That's her way of shutting me up. That's what I get. And then a few things started getting in the way of my argument.
I'm gonna go on that slide.
And underneath all of it, I was waiting for the moment I could say I was right.
Our cruise is growing on me. Not yet.
And the ship felt way bigger than I thought it would.
Honestly, pretty impressive.
I thought the whole thing would feel crowded, trapped. That was my word for it. Or at least the ones I borrowed. That was the part I didn't really expect. Out there, it didn't feel crowded at all. The next day, I found the exact version of cruise life I already had in my head. And weirdly, I felt relief. Like finally, there it is, proof. Because it meant my opinion still had something to stand on. And that's when I realized I wasn't really testing the cruise. I was letting my brain look for reasons to be annoyed.
I want to jump the rope. I want to go down
I
there.
still wanted to state my claim one more time.
Taking a cruise is not real travel. I think that's confirmed at this point, right?
The Travel Spectrum, presented by Lauren.
There's different kinds of travel, right? There's like adventure travel, and travel where you're learning about culture and history, science, paintings. And then there's travel where you get on your phone, you get in the sun, you take a look at the palm trees, and you just have a margarita.
That was the reframe I needed.
And that's where I started wondering if I had the whole thing backwards. Which leads to the point that's been in front of me this entire time.
It's the first time out of the country, basically, in 30 years.
Royal Caribbean Utopia.
Back home, my parents have a small farm and horses.
I don't like everybody taking
Yeah, I guess you guys have all these responsibilities at home.
Sometimes you need to unplug and part of your ass.
And that's what started changing it for me.
watching two people who almost never stop finally give themselves permission to do just that. Then it got harder to keep dismissing the rest of it. Because maybe the people embracing all the cheesy parts were not missing the point. Maybe they were actually better at this than I was. Better at committing to an experience instead of standing outside of it trying to critique it.
I didn't think a cruise could teach me anything about myself. I was wrong.
Maybe my definition of real travel was just too narrow. I always thought a trip had to challenge you, teach you something, give you a story, push you out of your routine in some big meaningful way. And if it did not do that, I kind of treated it like it counted less. But some trips push you. Some trips let you stop. Both matter. And for me, that was the real shift.
Sometimes you need to give up the travel snob bit and just embrace it, have a little fun.
I still know the kinds of travel I naturally lean toward, but it changed how sure I was. Because the truth is, I had spent years repeating an opinion I never actually earned. I had never really tested it for myself. And I keep thinking about how often we do that. Just a default opinion, a label, a take I repeated so many times it started to feel like mine. I don't think the lesson is that your first opinion is always wrong. It's just that there's a difference between an opinion you earned and one you borrowed. And for the record, here's what I actually think now.
Cruises are kind of fun.
But now, that opinion is actually mine.
So now you tell me, what's something you had a strong opinion about for years, but never actually tested for yourself? And one more thing,